Hello everyone, welcome to Brick Raiders, the legend of the pirate game. I'm Rohan, the creator of the game, and today, December 22nd, 2020, we are going to be releasing the first version of the game, which is Brick Raiders Hawaii. So this is a game about 4 tribes who are trying to get their keys and then treasure from the evil pirate king. If you're interested, we have a separate video on how to create these soldiers, these keys, and these special chiefs, these game pieces. That's also up on the website. And so how you get started playing this game is I'm going to give you a basic overview of the rules. So each human player is going to select one of these 4 tribes to control, and then they're going to choose one of these 4 home bases around the edges of the board to be theirs, and then they're going to place their 4 soldiers on that home base, their chief of their shape and color, and then they're going to place their corresponding key opposite them on the board, not right in front of them, but opposite them, because then they're going to have to go across the board to retrieve that, and that is the objective of the game. So as you can see, we're going to do the same thing for all 4 tribes, placing the 4 soldiers in the base, the chief, and then the key opposite the board. Same thing for the circle tribe, and the green key over here, and the triangle tribe, 4 soldiers, and the red key over here. Alright, so the objective of the game is to move your 4 soldiers across the board and to retrieve this key and bring it back to your home base so that you can raid this treasure chest here in the center. And so these chiefs are not going to move onto the board. They're just going to stand here in the home bases and serve as markers of which tribe corresponds to which home base. These 4 soldiers of yours, of each team, are going to move around on the board separately like this on these squares, and they're going to make their way across the board to the key and then come back. So that's sort of the objective of the game. How you get around moving your soldiers is you roll the dice. There's a single you use a single 6-sided dice, and then you're going to roll it. You get a number from 1 through 6. For instance, here I got 2, and you're going to move exactly 2 steps, one of your soldiers, either to the left, to the right, forwards, or backwards. And you can only move one of your soldiers per turn, even if you have multiple soldiers out here on the board. For instance, here I'm playing for the blue tribe, the diamond tribe. You can only move one of your soldiers during one turn, basically. So either this soldier right here, if I was to move them, they could move here, here. They can't move here because you can't have 2 of your same soldiers on the same spot, or they can move here. Forwards, left, right, or backwards is generally where you can move. Alright, so that's how you roll the dice and move around the board. Also notice that you're not allowed to skip a turn. For instance, if you were here and you rolled a 2, well, in this case, you can move here, you can move here, you can move here. You're allowed to move onto these spaces. These are the red X spaces, and if you move onto one of these spaces, your soldier is going to be immediately eliminated from the game board, and they'll be forced to return home, and they'll be out of the game. And so you cannot skip your turn. If you somehow end up in a situation where moving onto a red square is the only possibility for you, then you're going to be forced to make that move and have your soldier be eliminated from the game. That's a possibility. You cannot skip your turn. The only situation in which you can skip your turn is when you genuinely have nowhere that any of your soldiers can move to. Alright, so one more thing. At the start of the game, before you get started with all this moving around of your soldiers, you're going to have what's called the special magic meeting round. So each of your 4 tribes, 4 players, is going to roll the dice once, get a number from 1 through 6, and just for that first round, whatever number they get, each tribe will have a different number. Doesn't have to be different, but one of the numbers from 1 through 6. That number will be their magic number. And that magic number is going to be very special and important to them during the game for 2 reasons. One, that magic number is how they're going to get out onto the game board. For instance, if they rolled a 6 in the first round of the game for their magic number, then how their soldiers are going to actually get out from the home base onto the board is by rolling a 6. So if they again roll a 6 sometime during the game, they can move one of their soldiers out from their home base. Then they'll move them exactly 6 out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then they'll be on the game board. If you rolled, for instance, a 3 or a 4 or some other number, and that was your magic number, you would be waiting to roll that, and then you would move exactly that far out. And that's how you would get your soldiers on the game. Notice that there are 2 entrances for each tribe onto the game board, either this way or this way. And so they can move out from either one. If, for instance, your magic number is 6 and you wanted to move out onto the game board, you could either move out from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you could move out from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Both of those are good and allowed. Both of these spots are also exits from the game board back onto the home base. But we'll get to that in a second. First, the other reason why your magic number is going to be very important during the game. If you're on one of these 8 squares in the center, these purple, yellow, green, or pink squares, and these are what's called jump squares. And if you're on one of these squares, and you roll your magic number again, let's say mine was 6 and I rolled a 6, then you can immediately jump on over to here, and that will be your turn. So it's just a faster way to get around the board. You can jump to the corresponding color, but you can jump between greens, pinks, oranges, and purple magic jump squares if you roll your magic number and your soldier is already on one of them. Alright, the next thing to talk about is cutting, which is as follows. Cutting, or eliminating, is when one of your soldiers is somewhere on the board, and let's say an enemy soldier comes up to you, and let's say this enemy soldier rolls a 4, and then they're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, and basically they're going to move to the same exact square which you're on. And so what's going to happen is you, since you were there before, you've been eliminated from the game, and then the soldier will be eliminated from the game. They'll have to return back to home base, and they can no longer return back into the game. And so that's basically eliminating. Now, safe squares, the reason they exist is because they're special. You can't be eliminated when you're on one of these. Even if someone comes over and lands on this, actually, they can't. If they rolled a 4, if the orange tribe rolled a 4, from here they just could not come over here and eliminate you. It wouldn't be allowed because you're on a safe square, and you can't have 2 soldiers on the same square. So in this case, they would be forced to move this way. It would be the only way they could move. Alright, now the purpose of the entire game, of course, is to move across the board and retrieve your key. You can retrieve your key from either of these 2 spots. Both of them are fair game. You're going to move on to one of them, move across the board, rolling the dice, and you're going to get onto one of those squares. Once you're on one of these squares, you can immediately retrieve that key and place it atop your soldier. Then your soldier is going to have that key, and they're going to be able to move back across the board and enter back into their home base using one of these 2 pathways. Again, either one is fine. And once they reach home, then you've won the game. The first tribe to retrieve their key back home is going to win the game. And once that tribe wins the game, the whole purpose, of course, is to use that key to unlock the treasure. And with that treasure, which could have, who knows what kind of treasure could be in there, that tribe is going to win it. And one more thing. If on the way home you've got a key, and then an enemy soldier eliminates you from the game, what's going to happen is you're going to be eliminated from the game and go back here. And then the key is going to remain on the board at the same place where it was before. It's just going to remain there until another member of this tribe comes and picks it up from right there. They'll just land on that spot and they'll pick it up like that. Alright. Now we have kept gold bricks in our treasure chest, but you can fill up that treasure chest with candies, coupons, or any other sort of prize you would like for the winner of the game. Now, one more thing, these X squares, if you land on one of these X squares, you are immediately eliminated from the game, and that's why you want to try to not land on those. But If you're forced to land on one of those because it's your only option with the dice roll that you get, then again, you're eliminated from the game. Alright, and if you like cutting out things, making things with your hands, then we do have, again, downloadable PDFs where you can print out all the game materials for yourself and create them yourself with some gluing and cutting. If not, if you want to hop right into playing right away, you can either play with other things around your house, other little objects such as Lego minifigures as your soldiers, and using Lego bricks for your keys, or you could use different denominations of coins to represent the four different tribes. For instance, here in the U.S., you could have a penny tribe, a nickel tribe, a dime tribe, and a quarter tribe. And so there are many ways to hop right into playing. We're going to have a new game every month, a whole new game board published. This is the first one, Brick Raiders Hawaii. And on the website, every month there's going to be a new game board with slightly different rules and a new story to go along with it. So we hope you'll tune in, and happy playing.